question, are you scared to move forward because you're worried you might fail? Well, here's a 5-step roadmap to help you get out of the woods. Number 1, filter those thoughts. You see, just because you had the thought about the possibility of failure doesn't mean you have to own it. Our minds can run wild and process so many types of thoughts. So the important thing is that we make a practice of filtering each thought. Treat every single thought like somebody asking to move into your house. You wouldn't let somebody stay if they were a threat to you or your home. So question those thoughts and make sure you only let the good and godly ones stay. And here's Philippians 4 verse 8 to give you a practical filter that you can use on those thoughts. It says, whatever is true, whatever is honorable, whatever is just, whatever is pure, whatever is lovely, whatever is commendable, if there is any excellence, if there is anything worthy of praise, think about these things. Number 2, remember God's faithfulness. At the root of our fear of failure, what we're really doing is forgetting the God of our salvation. Now, I did a whole video about this last week, just talking about how important it is to remember the God of our salvation in all situations. And here's the thing, even if the worst case scenario happens and taking that step leads to some sort of failure, do we trust that God will still keep us secure? Do we trust that He is a good God who is more than capable of redeeming even the worst situations? Do we trust in His ability to turn our worst failures into an important part and turning point of our stories? For more on the God of our salvation, make sure you check out the video linked in the description. Number 3, put your trust in God, not in the outcome. One of the things that I believe leads to huge disappointments for many of us is the fact that we put our trust in the outcome rather than in God. And so when things don't go as we expected, we then say that we tried faith and it failed us. Now, don't get me wrong. There are always going to be nuances and various factors and unique situations, so I can't possibly cover every type of scenario. But here's a general thought to consider on this subject. God is the only factor we can rely on as being constant, unchanging, and reliable in all situations. So rather than putting our entire focus and trust in the outcome, which isn't really guaranteed, why not put our focus on God who is with us as we hope for a positive outcome, but trust that even in the worst case scenario, we still win in the end, which ties in very nicely to the next point. Number 4, don't give eternal weight to temporary situations. The reality is, many of the situations that make us feel afraid of failure are earthly, not eternal. For example, being afraid to apply for that senior role because you're scared that you'll be rejected, or being scared to launch that business or ministry because you're scared it will fail and come to nothing, or even being apprehensive about relationships because you're scared that he or she will cheat and the relationship will fail. Whatever the context, ask yourself, is this an eternal decision? Does the outcome of this end here on earth, or is it something that's going to affect my eternal destination or more? You see, when I mentioned that we win in the end, I really meant it, and here's why. The hope of every child of God who has been redeemed by the blood of Jesus is that when this earth passes away, we'll spend eternity in the new heavens and the new earth. So if you don't get that job, or the ministry, business, or relationship fails, it's not really as bad as we think. Why? Because come what may here on earth, we have an eternal hope and future that can't be shaken. Number 5, surrender those fears to God. You see, one of the amazing things about God is that He already knows how we feel and He doesn't condemn us for it. So that fear of failure you're wrestling with, He knew you'd have it even before you thought about it. So rather than bottling up how you feel like God can't take the weight of us telling Him we're scared, pour out to Him with the truth about what's really going on. Admit that you're scared and ask Him to help you to overcome. Search out the scriptures for verses to encourage you and help you build your faith. Then trust God to give you the help you need to overcome your fear of failure. Are you scared to move forward because you're worried you might fail? Peace.